From tiny quantum ripples to massive stellar explosions, space bubbles shape our universe in amazing ways. These cosmic foam structures hold secrets about how stars are born, galaxies form, and maybe even how the universe itself works. Let's explore how these fascinating space bubbles come to life. When massive stars explode as supernovas, they send out powerful shockwaves that push gas and dust outward, creating giant bubble-like structures. Think of it like blowing a bubble with cosmic materials instead of soap. These explosions aren't the only bubble makers in space, though. Strong stellar winds from hot young stars can also sweep up surrounding material into bubble shapes. Even black holes get in on the action, creating bubbles as they feed on nearby matter. The really cool part is how these bubbles connect. They bump into each other, merge, and form what scientists call cosmic foam. It's like a gigantic bubble bath stretching across the universe, but instead of water and soap, it's made of super-hot gas and stellar debris. Let's dive into the weird world of quantum physics and how it relates to these space bubbles. At the smallest scale, space isn't smooth, it's actually fizzing with tiny quantum bubbles that pop in and out of existence faster than we can blink. These quantum bubbles are like nature's smallest building blocks, appearing and disappearing due to something scientists call quantum fluctuations. Think of it like a pot of water just starting to boil. Tiny bubbles form and pop constantly. These quantum-scale bubbles might seem small, but they play a huge role in how our universe expands. As space stretches, these microscopic bubbles stretch too, growing into the massive cosmic bubbles we see today. It's amazing to think that the giant space structures we observe started as tiny quantum fizz. When a massive star reaches the end of its life, it goes out with a spectacular bang called a supernova. These stellar explosions are like cosmic champagne bottles popping, but instead of spraying fizzy drink, they blast out super-hot gas at millions of miles per hour. As this gas rushes outward, it pushes against the surrounding space material, creating enormous bubbles that can stretch across hundreds of light years. These supernova bubbles aren't lonely for long. In regions where lots of massive stars live and die, multiple explosions create networks of interconnected bubbles. Just like bubbles in a glass of champagne can merge and form larger ones, these space bubbles connect into vast structures. The hot gas inside these bubbles glows brightly, making them visible to our telescopes as beautiful, colorful nebulas. When astronomers look at the universe through powerful telescopes, they see something surprising. It looks a lot like a giant bubble bath. Recent studies show that galaxies aren't scattered randomly through space. Instead, they're arranged in a bubbly pattern, with most galaxies sitting along the edges of huge cosmic bubbles. These bubbles aren't small either. They can be hundreds of millions of light years across. Inside the bubbles are vast, empty spaces called voids, while the bubble walls are packed with thousands of galaxies. Scientists have mapped these patterns using special telescopes that measure both visible light and invisible radiation. The results show that about 80% of the universe's volume is made up of these empty bubble spaces, while most of the actual stuff of the universe, stars, gas, and galaxies, is squeezed into the thin bubble walls. Let's explore what happens when these massive space bubbles crash into each other. When cosmic bubbles collide, they create incredible shockwaves that ripple through space. These collisions can trigger the birth of new stars as gas and dust get squeezed together by powerful forces. Some scientists even suggest that bubble collisions might create something even more amazing: new universes. According to this idea, our universe might be just one bubble in a much bigger multiverse filled with countless other universe bubbles. When these universe-sized bubbles bump into each other, they could spawn entirely new universes, each with its own unique laws of physics. While this might sound like science fiction, researchers are actually looking for signs of these cosmic bubble collisions in the pattern of background radiation left over from the Big Bang. Now here's where space bubbles get really interesting. They might help explain one of science's biggest mysteries: dark energy. This strange force makes our universe expand faster and faster. but nobody knows what it is. Some scientists think the answer might lie in these cosmic bubbles. The energy stored in bubble walls, combined with the empty spaces inside them, could create a kind of pushing force that speeds up the universe's growth. When we look at how these bubbles spread out, their pattern matches what we see happening with dark energy. Think of it like blowing up a balloon. As the balloon gets bigger, the bubbles on its surface stretch out too. These space bubbles might be showing us how dark energy works. Space bubbles aren't just beautiful cosmic structures, they're also where new stars are born. These giant bubbles act like cosmic incubators, filled with dense clouds of gas and dust that are perfect for making baby stars. When the walls of different bubbles crash into each other, they create areas of supercompressed gas. The pressure and heat in these areas become so intense that hydrogen atoms start to fuse together, and boom, a new star is born. We can see this happening in places like the Eagle Nebula, where bubble walls are squeezing gas clouds into finger-like shapes called pillars of creation. Inside these pillars, dozens of new stars are forming right now. It's like a cosmic assembly line for stars, powered by the natural squeezing action of space bubbles. Here's where things get really wild. Some scientists think space bubbles might be cosmic shortcuts through space and time. When space bubbles get extremely dense, they could create bends in space-time itself. These bends might form what scientists call wormholes, tunnels that could connect distant parts of the universe. Imagine folding a piece of paper and poking a hole through it. That's similar to how a wormhole works. The walls of space bubbles, packed with energy and matter, might be just the right places for these tunnels to form. While we haven't found any real wormholes yet, the math shows they're possible. If they exist, they could let us travel huge distances through space in a fraction of the time it would normally take. Looking ahead, these cosmic bubbles might be the key to future space travel. Scientists are exploring how we could use these natural space structures like cosmic highways. The empty spaces between bubbles, those vast cosmic voids, could be perfect paths for spacecraft, with less dust and debris to slow them down. Think of it like following the paths between soap bubbles in a sink, but on a cosmic scale. The strong magnetic fields along bubble walls could also help push spacecraft faster, like surfers riding ocean waves. Some researchers are even designing special ships that could surf these bubble boundaries. By mapping these cosmic foam patterns, we might find the quickest routes between stars, making deep space travel more practical than ever before. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture of what space bubbles tell us about reality itself. These cosmic structures show us that empty space isn't really empty at all. It's more like a living, breathing thing. When we look at space bubbles at every scale, from tiny quantum foam to massive galaxy clusters, we see the same patterns repeating. This suggests that the universe follows similar rules whether we're looking at something microscopic or enormous. Some scientists think this pattern means our universe might be like a giant computer simulation, where these bubbles are the basic building blocks of reality. Others say it shows that math and physics are the true language of the cosmos, creating beautiful patterns that repeat across all scales. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the universe's amazing bubble structures. If you enjoyed learning about cosmic foam, hit that like button and subscribe for more space science. Share with friends who love exploring the mysteries of our universe.